Hey, what's up guys? This is Justin from Justice League Swag, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile on an updated version of my Dark Hero deck. First off, now my buddy is Schwartz, just like I thought he would be. Moving on to my monsters, size zeros. I run 3 combatant Kneebat. I run them at 3 because I want to make sure I see him early instead of searching for him, and he really makes a lot of my combos go off easily. Next up, 3 sacrifice Iron Moon Slash, because you could basically, with all of the plussing that you do in this deck, you could discard cards that are Dark Heroes to ping your opponent for 1 while you push for game with your combos or with the impact. Plus, he can hit a lot of big stuff, being a size 1 with break stacks. Next up, 4 Violet Valor Lord Crow. 4 because this is like my gauge ramp for the deck. This and the spell that I run. So bringing him back with Anson is like making Anson 1 gauge. 2 100 Demons General Braden. Just 2 because ideally I just want to push for game ending combos with him and Kneebat, sacrificing any of my guys that didn't get to hit that turn, or also clearing off my own field for the impact for anything that didn't hit. 2 instead of 3 or 4 because he gets cloggy and you can only use his ability once. Playing him alone, you don't plus as much, so I didn't see a purpose of running more than 2 since you can search him. Next up, my buddy Schwartz. Love it because he kills a lot of the big decks that you're going to be seeing a lot of now. 100 demons, dungeon enemies, all of that stuff. You can make quick work of anything that somebody has in their center with just playing Schwartz. And you don't mind this if you have a Kneebat and drop on hand. 3 Anson. Anson, because it allows you to play the deck differently, because now we have defensive options, so it gives us an alternate win condition as well if somebody pops your item or if you don't see it fast enough. Plus fetching Schwartz from the drop and popping something that's good, or Crow to plus gauge to make Anson cheaper. Finally, for monsters, I have 3 Darkness Fist Gwen. Just 3 because now he gets too cloggy with a lot of people playing big decks like Kaiserion and superheroes. You can't hit them alone without link attacking, so I side 1 if I'm playing against a center base deck. Spell lineup. 2, it's about time I get serious. You get knocked to 6, you draw 2. Simple. Only 2, but he is of the lowest rank because I only run about 3 guys that die on their own. If you want to count Crow, that's 7, but Crow, you can't use this with him unless Anson brings him to the field. So it's not a lot of stuff that's down on his own anymore, so I just run this at 2. Next up, still 2 Evil Aesthetics. Only 2 because I'm running about 5 size 3s, 8 size 2s, 6 size 1s, and 3 size 0s. My ratios are very inconsistent, so I only run 2 of these because the likelihood of me having duplicates in the of copies of sizes is pretty low early game. Staple, I've seen through your moves at 4. Staple. First Dark Hero Hideout at 4. I want to see it early. Your opponent may pop it. It's too good of a card not to run. One of my favorite cards for this, Damage Control at 4. Because you could drop a damage control with a damage control or set 2 damage controls. And a lot of my monsters bounce back to my hand, so it helps me get rid of dead draws. Like Braden, if he jumps back to my hand and I don't have gauge for him next turn. Also maxed out at 4. I'm finished with you because if I want to play defensive, playing Kneebats in the center, or intern calling Kneebat to the center, or having Anson in the center, and I don't want to take penetrate, that helps me avoid stuff like that and draw. Finally, items. I only run 4 Sneak Judgment. I do not see a reason to run the sword anymore because the sword doesn't let you plus. Plus, the sword can't clear centers. And why clear centers when you can go around them? That's how I see it. Plus, this lets you draw. Finally, impacts. Just 2 Infinity Decorators. This is not as much of end game as it used to be because we have more win conditions now with Braden being a thing and calling out another knee bat to deal more damage. So I just run 2 of these just in case I just have a weapon and my opponent just happens to be at 4. I mean, it's like Gargantua Punisher, but 2 gauge. It's pretty ridiculous. So that's all for my deck profile today, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll have more stuff coming up soon.
Enter battle phase.